Two, three.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Sevillistas Worldwide podcast. I'm Chris Lell, coming to you from Manassas, Virginia, just outside of D.C. Got my brothers up in Toronto, Canada. Eddie, how are you?
What's up? Great. Football's back in full effect. Transfer window's still open, so hopefully Horta could, get inspired, some Montreal like magic at the end of the window, hopefully. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. It's been a weird week. Like, not a lot of football going on. I guess there was some Champions League playoffs and Europa League playoffs and stuff, but I didn't have time for that. But Steve, how are you, my friend, up in Minnesota?
Actually, in Wisconsin right now.
Wisconsin.
Traveling for work, but same thing, right? I don't know. Things are going well. Finally got the season started and got all of my coaching assignments for my son and my daughter for the fall season 2 there. So, soccer's back.
Awesome. Hey, side note, are you going to the Minnesota State Fair this year?
We always go to the State Fair.
Do you? Okay. I saw some of the menu items. We got clients that are up in Minnesota, and one of the menu items is deep fried ranch dressing.
That's disgusting. There's so many of those menu items that are just disgusting. Yeah.
Why? Why is that a thing?
Yeah,
First of all, ranch sucks. I'm the only American, I think, that doesn't like ranch.
Oh, no, it's terrible.
Oh, you don't like ranch either?
Absolutely terrible.
All right, we got a club of 2.
Yes.
Eddie, what's your thoughts on ranch?
No, deep fried. We do some similar things like that here. There's a fair that goes on around the last few weeks of August into Labor Day weekend, and there's always these weird food items just like that. Deep fried this, deep fried that. It's like what is going on over there? But ranch, no, thank you.
I don't even know how that works. Like, I guess you freeze it first, and then it's so gross in my mind. Deep fried Oreo, great. It's really, really good. A deep fried Oreo, if you've never had one of those, really good.
That's this year. Deep fried Oreo. Like, I'm not trying deep fried Oreo. I'm sorry.
You're missing out. You're really missing out on that one. But ranch, gross. Anyway, if you go, Steve, you have to let us know how it goes.
Of course.
Maybe you can record that, and we'll include it in a future video just to see how it is.
I'm not gonna eat that. No.
All right, Steve reporting for the Minnesota Fair, coming soon in the episode next soon. Anyway, guys, Sevilla drew 2-2 on last Friday against Las Palmas. They visited Las Palmas, drew 2-2. There was on goals for both teams, and Wanlu, I didn't realize this at the time, but that was Wanlu's first La Liga goal. So congratulations, Olympian gold medal winning Wanlu, for getting his first La Liga goal. Speaking of gold medal winning, well, not gold medal, silver medal winning, Bade should be back in the lineup this week. It's looking very promising. He decided to turn down his transfers that were kind of rumored out there. One from Germany, and I think one from Italy, Roma, I think was the other one. Don't know if that last one was a true one or not, but Bade said today that he was staying in Sevilla and was very happy to do so. And Pimienta actually said that he was a welcome addition to the club, I think is how he put it. So probably see him in the game coming up tomorrow against Villarreal. And so we got some other news. Sevilla transferred Marcos Acuña out, World Cup winning, Europa League winning, Copa America Cup winning. Marcos Acuña out. 4 seasons with Sevilla, 149 games, 6 goals, 16 assists total. I know my favorite goal from Acuña. I don't know if you guys have one off the top of your head right now. My favorite was the one against Betis, where he just kind of dribbled on top of the, outside the box, put it in the back of the net. I think that was the winner. I think it was a 1-0 victory for Sevilla that game, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, my favorite goal, but my favorite memories from Acuña, I think, is just him riding challenges down the sideline, just shrugging people off, like that short, stocky frame of his, keeping the ball at his feet, getting out of sticky situations in the corner flag, in the defensive end, and just finding a way out. One of the all-time great left backs for this club. Steve, what are your thoughts on Acuña and him moving on?
Well, we can talk all day about what he brought to the club over the last 4 years, like you said. I'm kind of pissed about this. We have been talking for the last 2 years that he's probably one of our biggest assets on the market that we could, get a return for. And it seems like we got next to nothing for him on this transfer out. I feel like we kind of missed an opportunity there. Obviously, we got his transfer, so we got his salary off the books, which is nothing to scoff at. But I was hoping that we could get a little bit more for him, and it kind of feels like kick in the teeth. But yeah, especially because we don't have a permanent replacement for him lined up to come in. The individual that we've got coming in from Brighton is kind of he's a definite kind of upgrade over what we have, I think, just with the potential that's there. But it's a loan. There's no option to buy. It's a stopgap. He'll be gone after this season. So the whole thing kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know. I'm kind of bitter about it, but also acknowledge that it probably had to happen. So yeah, not too happy though.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a general sentiment on Twitter, from what I could tell, or X, or whatever you want to call it. Seemed to be some disappointment in the funds received. Eddie, any thoughts there? And then if you want to expand kind of on the type of player he was for Sevilla and what he meant to the club while he was here for his 4 seasons.
Yeah, on the business side, I don't think we got anything on the transfer. I think it was more so of reducing the salary. This wage bill that's causing issues with recruiting players. There might be some bonus related to results and performances and stuff like that we probably aren't privy to, but. And yeah, I guess next to nothing on the transfer, which I think we had an opportunity last summer. I think Aston Villa was in with a concrete offer for him, but I think we were still fresh on that. That wound was still fresh from Monchi leaving us, that we probably didn't want to do any business with Villa. So that's probably a missed opportunity there. But I felt like it was a transfer that was coming, probably at least 2 seasons now, because I feel like he hasn't been respected in a certain way. I guess it's stemming from when he was quote unquote injured before the World Cup. I legitimately think he was trying to stay fit for the World Cup, but at the same time he was still trying to play for us. People probably argue that he wasn't giving 100%, but neither was the team, to be fair. And even upon his return, there was an article in ABC of Sevilla that he was injured. He came back injured, and it's making his exit complicated for the summer, which turned out to be a lie. So it feels like he's not even getting respect from the press. I'm just hoping that it's a move that he's happy with. I mean, River Plate's a pretty big team in Argentina with a pretty reliable coach there with Gallardo going back. So I hope it's a move that he's in favor of, him and his family, because that's one of our pillars, you could say, from this recent Sevilla teams. Out of our strongest players, our most important players being Navas and Acuña, it was always the fullbacks that were probably our most important players in terms of in the attacking sense, outside of Enesiri scoring the goals and the last 6 months with Isaac. It was always our fullbacks that were important in us going forward. Our most important players in our successful years was definitely the defense, but in terms of going forward, it was Navas and Acuña. And like you mentioned, Chris, him dribbling with the ball on the byline and just refusing to cede it. Refusing to cede possession, I should say. Definitely one of my favorite players seeing play for Sevilla. You don't really see players like that often, and you like those kind of players being on your team as well, because just the attitude he has on the pitch as well. I always remember him ripping up the sheet of paper that was given to Juan Jordan with the instructions.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That Barcelona game. So he's one of those guys that could get away with doing stuff like that. So I'm gonna miss his attitude on the pitch. He's like, kind of a captain without the armband as well. But yeah, much love to Acuña and all the best to his career from now on.
Yeah, I was looking here to try to find his statement that he made. His final statement. It seemed like he's not getting a press conference, or at least not yet. I pulled it up, but my Spanish isn't good enough to translate that on the fly, and it's a graphic, so I can't put it in a Google Translate or anything. So I will try to link that in the description if you guys want to read his statement, what he thought about the club and fans. I'm sure it's similar sentiments as other folks when they leave. But I think to Steve's point, I mean, it's very disappointing that we didn't get more money for him, considering he was on contract till 2027. So it wasn't even the last year of his contract. However, I think last year he really wanted that move, and it seemed like the club just didn't make it happen. And I think there was a little bit of bad blood there. So I kind of understand why we didn't get it. I think the club was trying to do what was right for Acuña. But either way, that's speculation on my part. I don't want to do too much of that. The fact remains he's a great player for this club. Won a Europa League as just an unbelievable player. One of my favorite players of all time. And you mentioned that ripping it up. I mean, that's such an iconic moment of that era, right? Just wow. It brings back memories there. But again, 6 goals for the club, 16 assists, and that beauty from against Betis will go down in history as always. So good luck, Marcos Acuña. Steve kind of alluded to the rumor mill of who his replacement may be. It is Valentin Barco, another Argentine, potentially coming in from Brighton on loan. He's only 20 years old, which makes me think maybe he's just kind of cover. I don't know that he's going to replace Pedrosa, although we know Pedrosa's strengths, and he looked really great last week getting forward, but he also had struggled in defense and got beat on that one goal with Sandro there. So it's a give or take with that guy, I think. So let's see. I don't know. I don't know anything about Valentin Barco. He plays with the He's had 2 caps with the Argentine national team, and 7 caps with the U23s, 8 with the U20s. So pretty experienced player there nationally. Didn't get a ton of playing time last year. So I think it's kind of a who knows on this guy. But it's a long, it's a flyer. I hate these long deals that have no buy option attached to them because it just makes it complicated. If he does perform, we get pretty much zero benefit out of it other than what he does for the club in that season. So I've always been a little negative against those, but we'll see. The other rumor is Jordan maybe finally finding a club to go to. Alaves, I believe, is the club in question for a season long, with the potential to move on permanently. But again, he's got a contract through 2027 at a pretty good salary, so he's not very motivated to get off of that, I don't think. Hard to blame the guy, but you wish for the club that he would find that way. So that brings us to one other thing. We're recording here on August 22nd, 2024. It's so strange to say this, but yesterday was the anniversary of our 6th Europa League victory in Cologne, Germany, when we took Inter in that COVID year victory. So it's already been 4 years. It seems like almost yesterday in some ways, and then also it seems like so long ago in other ways. So, guys, what do you remember from that game? Any fond memories from that other than watching football?
Having Banega on this team. That's the one that sticks.
Yeah. And also Diego Carlos's penalties that he gives up. Like every game, it seems, in the knockout round of that tournament.
Yeah.
And all in all, though, that tournament itself was just such a unique experience because it took place after the season had ended, and they played a game every 3 days or every 4 days, and everything just cycled through during that COVID year, and it was just like this. We finished the season strong in the regular season, and then our number 1 goalkeeper got hurt, and Bono was already playing in Europa League that year, but once Bachelor got hurt, he was the only option that we had, and then he just lit up everything in our run for that championship too. So I don't know, it was really special. It was something else.
Yeah, sorry, Chris. That's a good shout because Bono, that United game, that's when he kind of announced himself, because he was making all kinds of saves in that game, and that's what kept us in it, because those United boys were hammering us, man.
Yeah, and he was our number 2 that year. That was when he had his coming out party, basically, and we stuck with him through another Europa League championship, and yeah, now he's off to more money.
I can't believe he did Diego Carlos that way, though. It was kind of Diego Carlos's bicycle kick there at the end that won the game for us.
Oh yeah,
he went to the negative, and we had a great moment with Carlos there.
He literally has that tattooed on the back of his leg, doesn't he, or the back of his arm or something like that? Yeah. No, I just how many penalties did he give up in the knockout stage that year, though? Yeah,
it was pretty comical.
Yeah.
Definitely the strangest Europa League that we won. No fans. A single leg elimination in the knockouts. A lot of weird parts about that tournament that was just strange. Two memories for me on that. The photo at the end of the game with Banega and Navas sitting there arm in arm, confetti coming down, just kind of enjoying the moment. Like I'll never forget that. It's just such a classic photo. And then the after party, when everything they had left the stadium, they went back to the hotel, and you got to see like the whole club that got to travel with the club, just embracing the moment after all that's happened during that season, and just seeing that emotion come over on all these, not only players, but coaches and staff and the social media guys that were there, and just them having just a moment together to enjoy being a club that pulled something off that nobody thought we would do that year. And just great memories for me on that. Hopefully we're gonna do something similar this year. We don't know. It won't be a Europa League, but maybe we get a Copa run coming up later in the year. Who knows? Speaking of that, the next step to that is going to be against Villarreal tomorrow, 3 p.m. or actually 3:30, I think, p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9:30 local time in Sevilla. Sevilla taking on Villarreal, and they're coming off a draw, I think, right? Didn't they draw against
It feels like
Atletico?
everybody drew. I think we're on like
Atletico.
4 games that ended in a
Atletico,
non
right?
draw. Yeah. Was it a yeah. That's
I
right. That
watched
was
a
on
little.
Monday. It's a
Yeah,
Monday
I
game.
watched a little bit of that game. I didn't get to see it all, but I got to see some of it. I was curious just to see how they looked. A different Villarreal from last season. Last season they finished 8th in the table, 53 points, basically 12 points ahead of us in the table last year. But they've lost a ton of folks. Still led by former Sevilla boss, of course, Marcelino. But they've lost some of their, the top goal scorer, and Sorloth went to Atletico, actually got his first goal with Atletico against Villarreal the other day. They lost their starting goalkeeper. And then, Quinca went to Fulham. Just a bunch of departures, but they also brought in some folks. They brought in Logan Costa, $18 million transfer, a center forward, Barry, a new goalkeeper that was just announced the other day, another center back from Man U. And then they got some other, other transfers along the way as well. So kind of a changing squad. Don't know if they've really found their identity, but they've still got their staples there. Mourinho Mourinho up top. Danny Parejo's still there, right? I'm trying to think. What's the guy, the left back? Oh, Albiol. I can't say it. Albiol. Jesus Christ.
38 years old, by the way.
38 years old, still starting center back in this league. It's unbelievable. Foyth, I think, is who I was thinking about.
Okay.
He's still there. Yeah, he's right back on the left.
He's still there. I thought he. I'm not sure. I thought I saw his name in terms of going somewhere, but I'm not sure at all.
Yeah, still there. Dennis Suarez still there. A lot of old Sevilla players. They just got Papagay in this year for a free transfer. We're all familiar with him, so it's going to be interesting. Jeremy Pino is still there. I mean, it's been amazing how many players they've been able to keep over the last few years. As successful as they've been with that semifinal run in the Champions League, the Europa League win a few years back. So they've been able to keep a lot of their squad and develop through their farm academy and through some really strategic transfers. So impressive club, guys. What's your thoughts on tomorrow? What do you expect to see from our team, Sevilla?
It's our first home game, so hopefully we see a Sevilla with a little bit more control on the game. I feel like we didn't take advantage of dictating the pace against Las Palmas. But we get Saul back, so I'm hoping he will. He was a very important player in preseason, and he's going to be very integral into this team, I feel. So hopefully it helps us with that in this game against Villarreal. It was a team that's always talented as well. I was watching a little bit of the Atletico game, and it seemed like that defense was a little dodgy, similar to ours. But they've got some players that are very dangerous in Danjuma, Moreno as always, and they got Nicolas Pepe, formerly of Arsenal. It's one of those gamble transfers, but he's very talented on the ball. So who knows what he'll spring up, and of course Pap Gay. I miss that guy. Like only had six months here, but he was so talented on the ball, and he did everything. He won the ball back, scored goals, assisted goals. It was a very unique midfielder. But yeah, Villarreal is a decent team. It's a good test for us, honestly, to see what we're going to be up to this season.
You expect a similar lineup to what we saw last game, minus the change with probably Saul moving into the midfield? Do you think we still go with that kind of? I don't know if it's a 5 in the back. It kind of was, but I don't know. With Carmona and Wanlu both being back there at the same time, with Wanlu getting forward.
Yeah, they kind of have a weird setup when we're in possession. In that early stage of possession in our own half. But I feel like having an extra week, he's probably going to incorporate players like maybe like Navas. Bade, I'm not so sure in terms of how he wants his team to play in whatever schemes he has planned. But I think we see a pretty similar lineup. I'm not sure if Sambi steps in if he's ready after the injury. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a fairly similar lineup.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if we actually get to see Ejuke this week after not featuring at all last week and being so heavy minutes in the preseason. I was really shocked by that. So I think that's going to be an interesting thing to watch. Iheanacho also got added to the roster. He was La Liga registered, so he's available for this match as well. Steve, what are you most looking forward to tomorrow? Both lineup and just what's your expectations from the club tomorrow?
Well, expectations. I don't really know if I have a whole lot of expectations. I was simultaneously impressed and incredibly disappointed with our play last week. I felt like there were some individual moments of brilliance there that took place, especially in the attacking half. That we haven't really had a lot of exciting attack over the last 4 or 5 years, and that was fun to watch. But there were just so many moments though that were just kind of left you scratching your head about what these established players are thinking, especially in the defense. That we just look disjointed, and I don't know if that's just that they're not used to playing with each other or in specific formations or anything like that. So going into this game against Villarreal, I would like to see that, more just the chemistry. I would like to see how that chemistry shakes out, especially given the fact that we are getting Saul back. We are going to be presumably playing Iheanacho now that he's registered, and there's plenty of changes that can happen the in the lineup, and admittedly, those not every player that is joining us that hasn't played before, hasn't featured a lot before, plays on the defense, but you can only have 10 outfield players in the game, and any changes you make anywhere on the pitch will affect everywhere else just with who's available. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. I also have no idea like what formation or what lineup to expect. Like I thought that I kind of understood what was going on with the lineup, and um, then they brought Jesus Navas in and played him up front, and that was just like, what is going on here? So all expectations that I had, or like just beliefs of that I had about what this team was going to do, just kind of went out the door. I mean, which is kind of exciting. Like we like that's what we wanted. Like it's something fresh, it's something new, and it kind of perked my ears up. But yeah, I think let's give it a couple of weeks before we try and make any like sweeping judgments or like any expectations for what we think we're going to see um, going forward this season. Like this is kind of a crazy part of the season with the transfer window still open. So yeah, not a whole lot concrete right now, both with what to expect and with the lineups.
Yeah, I would be quite disappointed if we didn't put in like the Juke and maybe even Luca Bacchio at the same time, just to run at that defense, because they look horrible against Atletico. And granted, Atletico's defense didn't look much better against them. And that's what's got me worried about this game is just seeing like how those two teams were just abusing the back lines of each other, and then seeing how bad our defense looked last week. Eddie, do you have any idea like how we're gonna line up back there, like, or is it a crapshoot at this point?
I guess it all depends. I guess it all depends on if he's willing to start Bade on his return, because I feel like he's playing Yanzu and Gudel because they've been here all preseason, so they're a bit more aware of how Pimienta wants to play. I think we'll see Navas. Because it's just Navas, right? He's always ready. He was probably ready to start last game. So the fact that he got on as a substitute kind of tells me that he might just get the start. I feel like the forward line will remain the same. Because he always wants to have Ocampos in there. And Luca Bacchio, I feel like, is one of our more dangerous players right now. And I think that gets the start. I think he's the starting striker for now. I just hope that we find him more. And because he's very good at bringing players in. We saw him set up the goal, right, for Wanlu. Kind of a player. He's a partnership starter. We could say that. But I don't know. I think the midfield will see So for sure, and Saul. Whether it's Agume or Sambi, I think it's either one of them. Yeah, it's just the defense is a question mark right now. I'm not sure who the center backs are going to be. Take your pick, right? Because is there going to be much of a difference who he picks? If it's Marcao, it's Marcao, and then we're just waiting to see how many games he plays.
Yeah. If Body's healthy, though, he's got to play. I mean, he's your best center back.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got to play if he's healthy. One thing I did notice in like the training videos that they were posting was Ajuke and Ocampos running together, and Ajuke hitting Ocampos on the far post, like crossing far post on some attacks. Again, the team's running these drills, and it's just me taking like little nitpick things. I doubt they're gonna be posting social media posts on actual game plans of what they're training, but it's just something I noticed. Ocampos scored a header, and there's somebody else scored a header, both on that far post with a cross by Juke. So I think we might see him start tomorrow. Maybe Luca Bacchio gets a chance to kind of reflect on some of those misses from last week.
And finishing.
Yeah. I think that's what we see in the back. I have no clue what we're gonna do. I think if Body's healthy and fit, he's got to start. Other than that, I mean, you got Kiki Salas that we haven't mentioned that got a ton of minutes in the preseason. Eddie's favorite player, Marcal, that now the coach might be okay with coming into the squad. Lots of questions. So I guess we'll see. We're less than 24 hours from being able to see what happens, and I think we can all agree that football's back. And as you can tell with our third episode in less than a week, we are excited. So let's keep that momentum up, and let's go for a win tomorrow, guys. Any final thoughts, Steve?
No, I'm traveling back tomorrow, driving on the interstates and stuff. I've already got my time like mapped out. I'm gonna stop at like a coffee shop at 2:30 in the afternoon Central Time. Stay there for 2 hours and then continue my drive back. Yeah, it's that time of year where we're scheduling around Sevilla games. Unlike last spring where we were just like, all right, what can I do during this Sevilla game to take my mind off of the pain. So yeah, the excitement's back. Hopefully we can just ride that wave of excitement all the way into a top 4 finish this year and get back in Champions League.
It's great. I'm expecting a Twitter selfie from some sort of Love's truck stop or something tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
Starbucks or something. Eddie, any final thoughts from you, sir?
I just want to see the Pichuan become a fortress again. I know it's a rocky situation with the owners and things happening behind the scene, but I just want it to be a fortress again. We've been dropping too many points in recent seasons at home. Like Sevilla is supposed to be a dangerous place to come to, and let's make it seem that way tomorrow.
Yeah, it's fun to see like all the folks on Twitter, just the season ticket holders, the folks that I follow, just the excitement that they've got for the game tomorrow. Friend Carol was in Malaga, just chilling on her vacation, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Sevilla's in town. I got to get back and watch that game. So she's excited. Everybody's excited, and I think I'm with you. Let's get rid of all that negativity and focus on our club. Let's put it all behind each other and go out and beat Villarreal and go top of the table for at least 24 hours. What do you think?
Sounds like a plan.
I like it. Until our post game. Sorry, the dog decided to squeak his toy right at the end.
He's stealing the show. The YouTube watchers are getting in for a treat. He's just like coming in and out of frame and scratching himself and just.
He's having a ball today. He finally got his calling off, so he's enjoying life and a little neurotic right now. So I got to take him for a walk right after this. But anyway, guys, I'm excited for tomorrow. Look out for our post-game show coming probably Saturday or Sunday, depending on when I get it edited. But until then, vamos mi Sevilla.
Vamos campeón.
Y nunca te rindas.